Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be testing out and reviewing the Kevyn Aucoin, the Sensual Skin Enhancer. I've been asked about this numerous times. I've only used this one other time, and that's when I was doing, I was following the Jackie Aina foolproof concealer technique, which I will link up here. I had a lot of fun making that video, a lot of fun. Anyway, I've only used it that one time, but I've never tried it out on its own, and that is what we are going to be doing today. All right, so let's go over some of the details for this concealer. This concealer retails for $48 US, so the price is definitely up there. However, you do get how much? 0.63 ounces worth of product, so like twice the amount that you would get with like the Tarte Shape Tape, which I feel has a ton of product in it. You get 0.33 ounces worth of product with the Tarte Shape Tape. Oh no, yeah, 0.33. This one you get double the amount, which is why it costs double. You know what I mean? The concealer comes in 16 different shades. I have 2 of the shades right here. This one is the SX09, and I also have SX07. So this is SX09 and this is SX07. So this, as you can see, it's more of a color correcting shade because it is more like peachy orange. This definitely more of a concealer shade. The concealer is formulated with jojoba oil and honey, which is going to help smooth the skin while instantly concealing dark circles, blemishes, acne, discoloration, redness, hyperpigmentation, pretty much anything under the sun. It has a high concentration of pigments that are non-cakey and won't settle into fine lines or pores. You know, that's a pretty bold statement because everything tends to settle. Everything tends to settle into fine lines or pores. But this claims that it won't. We'll see about that. It can be layered for buildable coverage. Love that, you know, just in case you need a little bit more coverage, because not one size fits all. That is for sure, especially with concealers. This is a waterproof formula that contains rich pigments that provide great coverage and all-day wear. The website also states that a rice grain amount of concealer is all that you will need in order to create complete coverage. As far as how to use it, you're supposed to pick up a rice grain amount of the concealer and apply sparingly to your under eye in areas that need brightening. For me, that would be mainly right here along the inner corners. As far as pro tips, you're supposed to be able to use the SX09 shade right here as a color corrector in order to neutralize hyperpigmentation, dark areas, stuff like that. So since I have the SX09 shade, I am going to be using this in order to color correct, and then I'll be using the SX07 in order to conceal on top of that. So let's get started with the color correcting portion of this. So I'm going to take SX09. So I'm going to take this tiny little concealer brush. This one is from Hola, but it doesn't have a number, just a tiny concealer brush, in order to grab a little bit of this to color correct the under eye area. So let's say here. They're definitely not kidding when they say that all you need is a little grain of rice amount. Like, it was a small amount that I grabbed, and I was able to correct the entire under eye area. Actually, this looks like a pretty good concealer shade to me. Okay, anyway, we're still correcting. So I'm grabbing another, and when I say tiny, like, look at how much I'm using. That's how much I used on this eye, and this is how much I'm gonna use on this eye, and that's all you need. It's such a small amount. It spreads out really nicely, and it smells so good. All right, so that's just color correcting. I feel like I just completely concealed the under eye area. So perhaps this is like one of those concealers that you don't need a corrector with, you know? All right, so under eye is color corrected. It is time to move on to foundation before applying a little bit of my concealer shade. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now I am back. Foundation is on. Now let's move on to the concealer portion of this. Now, as far as the claim that it doesn't settle into fine lines, not true. That is false. The lie detector determined that is a lie. I kind of knew that it was going to do that anyway, just because of the texture. The texture of the concealer, it's like a really thick cream. So I knew that it probably was going to settle onto fine lines. It's okay though. We're just gonna blend it out. Now, let's go in with our concealer shade, shall we? I am gonna be using my Deluxe Crease Brush from Real Techniques. So I'm just gonna grab a really tiny amount of this concealer, like that much. And again, this is SX07, that's what that looks like. So I'm just taking a tiny, tiny amount and I'm going to be applying it underneath the eyes. Ooh, this may be really too bright. Okay, I don't know. I don't think this is my shade, guys. Holy cow. Unless I'm trying to really highlight the under eye area, this is not my shade at all. Maybe it'll tone down a little bit once I like powder it. All right, now let's try the other side. So again, really small amount over here. All right, so there it is. Since it is settling into my fine lines, I am absolutely going to set this. And I'm gonna set it with my Pat McGrath Blurring Under Eye Powder. So just taking some of the powder and setting the under eye area. Oh yeah, that toned it down a little bit too, I think. All right, so now that everything is set, let me zoom you all in so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after initial application. All right, so here it is. I think it's doing a really good job at concealing the under eye area, considering the fact that you don't need a lot of product. This is very thick, this is very pigmented. I like the way that it looks right now. All right, so I'm gonna jump off camera once again in order to finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I am back, makeup is done. I really like this concealer so far. It's providing full coverage for sure. I really love the way that it looks though. It looks great up close. It doesn't look heavy, overly done. It's not separating. It still looks really, really nice. So let's hope that it continues to look this way the entire day. It is currently 10:29 in the morning. I do plan on wearing this the entire day, of course, like I just said. And I'm gonna be coming back in about 4 hours to check in with you all, to give you all more close-ups, and to talk to you about how the concealer has been wearing throughout the day. So I'll see you all here in a bit for my midday check-in. Okay, so now I am back for my midday check-in. It is currently 2:19, which means that I've had this concealer on now for a good 4 hours. Now, before I give you what I think about the concealer so far, before I give you my thoughts, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after 4 hours of wear. All right, so here is the concealer after 4 hours. I still love the coverage. I love the way that it looks. It's still holding up nicely. Yeah, I'm really happy with it, and I hope it continues to wear like this for the rest of the day. All right, so there you have it. That is the under eye area after 4 hours. I still really like it. I'm still really happy with it. We'll see what it looks like at the end of the day. As of right now, 4 hours in, it still looks good. It hasn't separated. It hasn't moved around. I like it. I like the amount of coverage that this is providing. Overall, so far so good. But we'll see how we end the day. So I'm going to continue to wear this for about another 4 hours just to give it an 8-hour day. And I will see you all back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts on this concealer. Okay, so I am back for my final check-in. It is currently, what time is it? 7:16. So I've had this on for a solid 8, I believe, not like almost 9 hours. Now, before I get into what I think about the concealer so far, I'm going to zoom you all in one last time so that you can get a better look underneath the eyes after 9 hours of wear. All right, so this is what the under eye area currently looks like. I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like it's kind of separated a little bit. Yeah, I was outside in the heat for a while, and I was also outside in the rain for a little bit, just briefly while I checked the mail. So my face was exposed to water and to heat, and I have been sweating since it's really hot out. So I don't know if perhaps that affected it, but yeah, to me, it just looks a little bit broken up. It's still providing a lot of coverage, but if you look at me up close, I personally I'm not too fond of the way that it looks right now. All right, so there you have it. That is the current situation underneath my eye area after 9 hours of wear. Is this an absolute fail? No, I would say no, but it's not an absolute win either. I wish it would have worn like it was wearing throughout the first half of the day, the entire day, and then this definitely would have been a win. But now it's separated. It's just not looking the same. It's not looking as smooth as it did at the beginning of the day. So this is definitely a concealer that I want to continue to play with. I actually want to continue to play with it because one, it was quite pricey, and two, I love the full coverageness of it. I love the pigment, like it's very, very highly pigmented, and I feel like maybe I used a little too much, you know, like maybe 2 layers of the same formula on top of one another. They're different shades, but same formula. Like maybe that was too much. Maybe next time I'll just take a tiny, like a dot size amount of the concealer shade, and then a dot size amount of the corrector shade, and then just mix them, 1 layer, call it good, set it, and maybe forget it. We'll see. Or I can pair it with a different corrector. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. I really like the coverage. I really, really like the coverage. It definitely has its pros and its cons. Pros, coverage, full coverage for sure. You don't need a lot of product in order to achieve that, which is amazing. And I love the feel of it, the texture. It's really nice and smooth. It doesn't feel dry. It really doesn't even feel heavy, which I appreciate. However, some of the cons are that it didn't last all day. That's a big one for me. Another thing may be the price point. It's a $48 pot of concealer, but you do get a lot. You get like twice the amount that I've seen in any of my other concealers, and it has a shelf life of 18 months, so it's gonna last you. You know, if you consider the fact that you only need like a tiny amount of concealer every time you use it, and you have 18 months to use it, $48 may not look so bad, or it may not sound so bad. However, this is heavily scented. I don't mind the scent. I actually really like it. But if you're sensitive to smells, if you're sensitive to fragrances, if you don't want fragrances around your eyes, then you definitely won't like this one because it is very heavily scented. Overall, not the best, but not the worst. And I hate leaving you guys kind of like in the middle. I like giving you a definite yes or a definite no. But this one, I'm just like truly conflicted. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to play with it a few more times to hopefully make it work, because I like the coverage. It's amazing. And the first half of the day was great, but the second half, not so much. So it's just about trying to figure out how to make it last. So if I figure out a way, you'll definitely see a video here soon. And yeah, and even if I don't, I'll let you all know in a future video. Anyway, that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you all. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.